we are setting her up to then get some kind of, whether it's a pardon or they're going to move for her to get a reduced sentence, that there's this idea now that we're hearing she was a victim.
She's in custody for 20 years. That's the better part of her life. Almost the rest of her life will be spent behind bars.
Because remember, so much of the concern, the outrage, the political firestorm that we're seeing here is motivated by a concern that sexual predators are being protected.
Did Donald Trump just get played by Ghislaine Maxwell? Stay with me, because the Todd Blanch immunity deal isn't just a random legal move, it's a flashing red siren. Why would Trump protect someone tied directly to Maxwell unless she's holding something over him?
And as for Trump, he's saying he doesn't want to talk about it right now, but he's leaving the door open.
Because, I mean, she's been convicted of really just disgusting crimes, and especially crimes against minors.
And not just any something, we're talking potential tapes, transcripts, or evidence that could turn the whole Epstein saga upside down. If Maxwell is the chess master here, Trump's looking more like the pawn, or maybe the checkmated king. The question is, what's in her back pocket that's keeping him in line? Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great! Thank you so much. Now, back to the video. Imagine sitting down at a chessboard sure you've got this game in the bag.
It's pretty clear that Maxwell and her lawyer are hoping for a get-out-of-jail-free card. But a pardon isn't the only possible advantageous outcome Maxwell could be hoping for. I'm sure she would love that.
Because we already know that she's eyeing clemency. Her attorneys have said she would welcome clemency from the president. I mean, is that her goal? And she'll say whatever she wants to get there.
You've read a few online tips, seen a YouTube video about advanced strategy, and you're feeling like a genius. But then, halfway through, you realize your opponent had your king boxed in before you even touched a piece. That's the vibe here. Maxwell isn't just playing chess, she's running the whole tournament. Meanwhile, grumpy Trumpy is poking at pawns and wondering why his rook can't move like a knight. Here's the part that makes people scratch their heads. The Todd Blanch immunity deal.
Because remember, so much of the concern, the outrage, the political firestorm that we're seeing here is motivated by a concern that sexual predators are being protected.
Right, so her attorney is not stupid. If he's bringing her in to talk and to have it be meaningful, he's going to want to make sure there's some protection for her.
Now, Todd Blanch isn't some random guy off the street, he's a lawyer who has represented Trump in other high-profile, messy cases. Which is fine, unless you find out that giving him immunity means you're essentially protecting a figure with ties that run close to Maxwell. If Trump were really the one holding the power here, why would he be giving legal cover to someone whose connections might help her? It's like handing the other player a spare queen and saying, "Good luck out there." Nobody does that unless they're not in control. Grumpy Trumpy loves to talk about playing 4D chess, like he's 10 steps ahead of everyone else.
That she was involved with, that Jeffrey Epstein was involved in, but she may not necessarily be truthful about Trump.
The most sensational development that we've had in this case. Here we have someone who is right next to Jeffrey Epstein.
But here it looks more like Connect 4, colorful, loud, and easy to lose if you're not paying attention. There's nothing sleek or brilliant about putting yourself in a position where someone else's legal safety could come back to hurt you. The red flags aren't just waving here, they're practically screaming through a bullhorn. We've seen strange immunity deals before in political scandals, and they always have that same suspicious smell. Deals that say, "We're not going to charge you, but only if you play nice." And what usually happens? The person getting immunity has information so strong, so risky, that getting them to talk without protection would blow the whole thing wide open.
They were meeting for 2 days. She's not a credible witness. I mean, she's somebody who was lying, has been lying, has never even admitted she was guilty of wrongdoing at any point in this process.
She's in custody for 20 years. That's the better part of her life. Almost the rest of her life will be spent behind bars.
Think about the Iran-Contra mess or even some of the shadier moments in Watergate. Those immunity deals weren't about kindness, they were about survival. And if you rewind a bit, Trump has a history of calling anything that digs too close to the truth a hoax. Russia investigations? Hoax. Impeachments? Hoax. It's almost like labeling something fake is his way of making it go away, or at least muddying the water long enough for people to move on.
We are setting her up to then get some kind of, whether it's a pardon or they're going to move for her to get a reduced sentence, that there's this idea now that we're hearing she was a victim.
Who was his co-conspirator. And for the very first time, she talked for 9 straight hours over 2 days.
So, seeing him hand out immunity in a context this close to the Epstein-Maxwell orbit doesn't scream strategic genius. It whispers, please, let's just not talk about what's in that safe. Imagine Maxwell sitting there, not sweating, quietly sliding her knights across the board, moving bishops into killing range. Trump's king? Running back and forth like it's trying to dodge bullets. The game is slow, but the trap is tight. The more pieces Maxwell lines up, the fewer moves Trump has left, and suddenly every option isn't really an option at all.
Listening to her is not really going to be the entirety of the story, just because there are so many variables here that President Trump can affect directly.
Neither have any of the individuals that Trump just referenced. But of course, Trump has been told by his own attorney general that his name does appear in those Epstein files multiple times.
If you were running the show and had total confidence in your position, giving immunity to someone with potential ties to your opponent would be madness. But if Maxwell had something in reserve, a file, a recording, a list, you'd maybe play nice, even if it chipped away at your own defense. It starts looking less like legal expertise and more like Maxwell's inner circle just picked up a get-out-of-jail-free card while Trump's team pretends it's part of some galaxy brain plan. You can almost picture it, Trump behind the scenes, red tie askew, muttering about fake news while quietly giving ground. He might talk like he's breaking through enemy lines, but the board tells a different story. And if Maxwell's control of the pieces so far led to this kind of immunity deal, you have to wonder what her next move will be. Because in a game where one side is already chasing its own tail, the end isn't when the pieces are gone, it's when the final move makes the king stop running.
Ghislaine Maxwell isn't the only one that has no credibility here. Todd Blanch has no credibility here. Why? Because when he found out that Donald Trump's name was in the file, he went and reported that to Donald Trump.
So far, she's been flattering, according to reports, to President Trump. She's saying, I never saw anything concerning. I mean, can we believe her? Can we take her at her word?
This isn't some normal political spat. This is survival mode. If Maxwell really dangled testifying in exchange for clemency, that puts grumpy Trumpy in a corn.